if you go on the Urban Change app today, you'll be able to see the Minsk Mazowiecki page. The initiatives are supposed to go live, I believe, the first week of March. And assuming that everything goes well, we'll be able to announce a much more, I would say, a large launch event later on. But the initial initiatives, which will be the walking steps and the engagement, will be happening the beginning of March.
Welcome everyone. Today I have a special guest, Michael Mazur from Urban Change Protocol. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hi, thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, Michael is a co-founder of Urban Change and will be talking like what is happening in urban change in general. There are some launches upcoming in Poland. One of the Polish cities will talk this as well. But urban change is like a platform for both local communities, global communities, any kind of community. So fascinated things you are building. Before we actually go into that, Michael, maybe you could introduce yourself to the audience, how did you start your adventures in blockchain space, anything you think is relevant.
Absolutely. I'm Michael Mazur, one of the co-founders of the Urban Change Protocol, based in New York. I've been dealing with sort of, I would call it the intersection of social impact, fintech, energy transition, for the past 8 years. And in the past, joined Kolu and the Urban Change, what became ultimately the Urban Change team about 4 years ago. And really, you know, the evolution to blockchain came from a lot of successful programs that we've implemented in the US market with cities, where the whole essence of the crux of what we do is using incentives to reward people for taking positive action and for ultimately creating behavioral change. So really saying that the best way to get people to take actions that are good for the general public or for cities or for communities is to give them rewards that are aligned with the outcomes that the city or the community wants to get to. And so we did a very successful program in the United States in different cities like Houston, Boston, Akron, to name a few. And then we saw that the power of blockchain technology is one that can enable us to actually expand this to many other markets globally, including Poland, of course, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but really to reduce barriers to entry for communities to launch and start their own initiatives and challenges in order to achieve their strategic goals. I think it's especially important now with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. It's very important now because of the different mandates, because of the sustainability requirements, because of their emission standards. And so this is a very interesting time. And I think that we are at a very, I think the blockchain can enable this to happen in a way that's much easier and has less friction than without it.
Okay, yeah, and I understand that you've mentioned several cities in the United States like Houston, Boston, and others. So I understand this was like off-chain, so you haven't been using blockchain at this stage, right? Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly. So in essence, in the United States, the model is without the blockchain. It's essentially a Web 2, I guess, for lack of a better term, model. But ultimately the foundation and the model is pretty much the same or very similar, and there were a lot of lessons to be learned. I would say that, you know, blockchain has evolved and the technology has evolved, and then user experience has also I would say been getting much better. In essence, the US market, considering the timing, meaning starting about almost 4 years ago, the best way for us to have actually tested this out and seen that it works was to do it with the existing available infrastructure that was viable for the end users, that created an experience that at least the majority of people who are relevant could benefit from it. And I think today blockchain is getting there, and we're seeing a lot of very interesting advancements that are enabling that to happen and to get mainstream adoption for tools that work. And that's where we see the European projects and the ones in Brazil so exciting.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I understand that the blockchain helps to remove frictions, probably helps to make it more transparent, and there are many benefits of blockchains. Using them in use cases like Yuba change, but is it like how did you actually found Algorand? I mean, what made you choose Algorand? There are other blockchains. Like, was it an obvious choice from the very beginning, or you've been experimenting with other blockchains? Like, why Algorand? Maybe let's talk that.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's something that, of course, we put in a lot of thought. Algorand has been an amazing partner. I would say that one of the things that stand out is the fact that they're carbon negative. And for us, it was very important to work with a chain that is focused on the environment and then sustainability and is aligned with the values that we have. They have an amazing team, very smart and driven people. And so we really found them to be the right partners to help us go to market with this product. And it's been great so far. I mean, obviously, as we all know, the blockchain and crypto world has gone through various ups and downs in the past couple of years. And I would say that, this has been a great time to build, develop, grow, and Algorand has absolutely been there and is getting better every day.
Excellent. Yeah, and I see already some Algorand communities like the Algo Active connecting their communities and streamlining community effort through your platform, which is great. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, to what extent are you using blockchain in the overall architecture of your platform? And everything is on chain, like do you put like maybe you could talk this, like what is on chain, what is off chain, like before we actually digest like the functionalities of the platform. I'm a technology guy and I like to understand how things work. So what works on chain, what is off chain?
Good question. And so I would first maybe start by zooming out to give that the more bird's eye view perspective, and then I can maybe dive a little bit deeper into both the on and off chain component. So when we zoom out for a second, the way the protocol works is that each community leader, whether it's a city, a university, it could be also a community organization or a neighborhood association, anyone that basically has some sort of responsibility or jurisdiction over a community. We would recommend over 10,000 people within that community. That individual can actually start their own community on their blockchain app. And let's just take the example of Minsk Mazowiecki in Poland, of course. And so in Minsk Mazowiecki, it's a city with, I think, 40 to 50,000 population. And that city wants to reward people for doing two different things. One is civic engagement, so participating, volunteering, coming to city hall, going to events. And the other is for healthy living, for doing things like walking, I believe it's 10,000 steps per day, and really for doing things that are good for your health and good for the environment. So those two components that the city wants to invest, that the city is actually promoting, are things that when people take those actions, meaning when people participate in or volunteer for certain events, or on the other hand, when they walk 10,000 steps per day, they will earn what we call now Minsk coins. And again, Minsk coins, it's one word, but it's a nice combo. It's a good idea by the city to come up with it. And each Minsk coin is backed by a stable coin. And so it's always worth $1, right? So in essence, I'll just give an example. If you walk 10,000 steps per day, let's say for each time you walk 10,000 steps, you earn, for example, one local coin that's worth $1. Obviously in zloty, I believe it's around 5 right now, plus minus. I don't know, I haven't checked the exact conversion, but my point is that in essence, the foundational currency is that's on chain. Okay, so the whole concept of taking an action, once that action is validated, meaning I walk 10,000 steps per day, I've shown some proof, whether it's through my app, through a screenshot, or whatever the community leader decides. Once that's approved, I then get the coin. that element of me receiving the liquidity, meaning the Minsk coin, into my personal digital wallet, that's on chain, right? There's an on chain transaction. Now, Minsk coins, in our case, which is a community coin, can only be used at local businesses within the Minsk communities. So there will be a few local businesses within Minsk, Minsk Mazowiecki, of course, where people can redeem their local coins with that same value, right? So the value will always be one Minsk coin equals $1, and then or 5 zloty plus minus, and the merchant will be able to get the value of the coins, and eventually, if they would like to somehow, they could get it back into fiat. Okay, so that concept is on chain. What is not on chain? It's at this stage is the verification of the reward offer, meaning of the initiative, right? So the off, meaning if I'm now walking 10,000 steps per day, that validation and verification is not done on chain, right? That's done off chain, but essentially it's a proxy for the approval process of receiving the reward as the end user, right? So if I receive this one Minsk coin, the on chain, you won't be able to see what action I did unless you actually you need one more variable that is off chain. So you have to connect the on and off. I believe in the future we'll have more opportunities to add that on chain. There's a lot of AI integration that will be relevant, right, to verify and validate. And I think the convergence of AI and blockchain will enable us to do a lot more of the verification and validation on chain. So it's a long answer to your question, but essentially it's that there's two components. But again, happy to go into more detail as well.
Yeah, but it's actually a very good helicopter view of what the platform is all about. So you've already mentioned like like in Minsk Mazowiecki, people are rewarded with Minsk coins, which is like a local coin, as you call it, right? Minsk coin is a local coin, equals $1, backed by USD, $1. So it's like a real value behind it, right? It's like a coin out of the thin air. It's backed by something. So who is the sponsor? I mean, in this or other areas like this, there must be a sponsor, right? Somebody must be putting real money to fund this idea. So in this case, if my assumption is correct, who is the sponsor for Minsk Mazowiecki, and who potentially could be sponsor of similar initiatives in other cities, in other communities?
Absolutely. So in general, I would say that the funding for the initiatives comes either from the city, it can come from a third party partner, which could be a sponsor, meaning a corporation or company that has a goal, or from an NGO, let's say an NGO that wants to promote sustainability, healthy living. In Minsk Mazowiecki, we have a few different partners that are helping and contributing, that are basically providing some of the initial liquidity for the pilot program. And then we will be able to decide, considering how well the pilot does, who is going to continue. If it'll be, the city, if it'll be other third-party partners. We've been in discussions with many different organizations and different levels within the region. And I would say right now, it's about getting this program up and running next month, and being able to have it work and to see how quickly people adapt to it. And then we'll be able to work with the city and the different partners to determine how to continue and grow it even more.
Okay, so in this particular case, the city provides liquidity for this initiative from their budget, and you said there are other sponsors as well. Obviously that must be tied to like some goals or KPIs the city wants to achieve, right? So that's why, I mean, instead of spending this budget, in other way, that they decided to fund some initiative via urban chain protocol, correct?
But to an extent. So at this stage, there's a foundation that's actually supporting, a local foundation, that I think we will be able to share who it is later on, and definitely happy for you to kind of share that. Who's helping in sponsoring the initial funds, and then the city will hopefully join on and continue to contribute. But to the question, in terms of the alignment, it's in essence the city or whomever it is, the foundation, the NGO, essentially says, okay, we want to achieve a certain goal. Yeah. Meaning we want to achieve a goal of 10,000 tons of emissions reduced in a certain time frame. And basically, what we'll be able to do is to tell them, okay, how many what types of initiatives are needed in order to achieve that goal, right? So is it maybe taking 2,000 bike rides? Is it 10,000 steps per day per 5 times per week for a year per person? And there are a lot of different calculations and data analyses that we are able to provide to actually enable the entity that wants to achieve the outcomes, whether it's a city, foundation, NGO, or whomever, to actually kind of convert their budget into a strategic outcome based on the incentives, right? And based on the actions that people take that are aligned with those goals that they have.
Okay, so I understand that the initiative is soon to be launched, right? Can you reveal like the launch date, or is it already live, or if not, then like when exactly people who are citizens of Minsk Mazowiecki can start using the app, start like execute their steps or whatever will be the initiatives inside the app?
Absolutely. So if you go on the Urban Change app today, you'll be able to see the Minsk Mazowiecki page. The initiatives are supposed to go live, I believe, the first week of March. And assuming that everything goes well, we'll be able to announce a much more, I would say, a large launch event later on. But the initial initiatives, which will be the walking steps and the engagement, will be happening the beginning of March. And so, yeah, everything is set up. We've been, it's a lot of work to launch the first communities, especially we wanted to make sure that everything also is in Polish and everything is available for the local audience, which again it's all new in terms of languages. So we've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the amazing team from the city of Minsk Mazowiecki and partners who've been truly amazing. Some that I can definitely give a shout out is Sebastian Grabowski, I believe I'm saying his name right, in Kasia from the city, or Katarzyna from the city, who've been really doing an amazing job. And really working endlessly to make sure that this is happening. So without them, this would have never been possible.
Okay, excellent. So I understand that like the first initiatives could go live like first week of March. So let's say there will be like this walking challenge or whatever. I mean, me walking like 5 kilometers per day, I earn the local coins, which are the Minsk coins, and then can I immediately redeem them for something? I mean, are you working already with the businesses in Minsk Mazowiecki so that those local coins will have a real value? I mean, in terms I can exchange for something immediately. How is it supposed to work?
When you use the Minsk Mazowiecki app, if you take an action, right, that then you earn the Minsk coins, there will be a few initial local businesses that have actually shown a lot of interest who will be participating. And over time, we'll be adding more and more businesses to the platform. So initially, it'll probably be a handful of businesses that will be in the beginning, and then there will be more and more businesses that join later on. And essentially, the way it works is that you redeem the local coins, the Minsk coins, at the businesses, and once you redeem them, they basically are equivalent to, like I was saying, $1 or 5 zloty plus minus. The app, what's cool is that it'll always show you the exact value of the local fiat currency of the city of the country that you're in. So if you're in Poland, right, it'll show you the exact value in zloty. If you're in, let's say, France, it'll show you the euro value and so forth. So there's always that component of the localization, which makes it much easier because, again, when you go to the store in Poland and buy, pizza or whatever it is, you want to pay with the local value, right? If you say, okay, great, I'm paying with $2, I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? Well, how many zloty is it? So we wanted to make sure that process is also very easy and simple.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, $2 is unfortunately a bit closer to 8 zlotys than to
8 now.
10 zlotys, but still, I mean, there will be businesses accepting this, right? So, like you've mentioned, like buying pizza is like a real life example, or can you reveal some of the businesses that will launch in March in Minsk?
I believe they will be revealed on March 1st,
Okay.
those businesses. So we'll make sure to have an announcement of the businesses once they're up. And I think one of the advantages, I think kind of talking to more of a crypto audience, I think what you can understand is that, creating this sort of link between blockchain and fiat and in the norm, quote unquote, existing world, non-blockchain world, has always been a hard link and a challenging link. And I think a lot of players have come in and really tried to create sort of different on and off ramp solutions that actually circumvent some of those challenges of, if I'm a business owner, I don't really care about blockchain or crypto. I just want to make sure that I'm getting paid in time and that my experience of providing goods and services is a good one for my consumers, and that I'm able to continue to have consumers come or customers come and shop at my business, right? They don't care, which is a good thing. So I think where we are constantly evolving and working on is creating those simple models that enable any merchant who, again, is focused on selling their products as best as possible or their services to utilize this program, because it'll actually add value to them, not because of their desire to be in the crypto world. Because again, I think ultimately this is a tool to solve problems in a way that's better than without it. And so I think when we talk about merchants, and again, considering the crypto audience, I think that it's very important now, especially 2024, as things are getting better, as it's about ETFs, you're seeing more kind of mainstream recognition, to also look at those friction points between end users and consumers, and to make sure that we're able to overcome them and create models that not only the early adopters could use, but also the mainstream. And so that's, I think, going to be the next phase that we're starting to be part of. And I believe will last for the next couple of years until we're able to finally see true mainstream adoption, like you have with credit cards or Apple and Google Pay. Right? Those things took time, but eventually they overcame a lot of the technical hurdles. And if my parents or my grandparents can use them, then I think, okay, great, it worked. And so that's where we want to be with merchants and with users. But we have to start again with the early adopters.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Mies Mazowiecki obviously is building like a super innovative blockchain hub. There are more blockchain initiatives tied to this hub. I'm super happy that Urban Changes is part of this hub as well. And that are there already like on-chain cities? I mean, are there cities or CityCoins in other cities already working? I mean, you've said that it was implemented in some cities in the United States, but it was off-chain, not using blockchain. So what is on blockchain? Are there any cities on blockchain already working?
Absolutely. So if you look on the app, you'll be able to see a few communities. One is in Rio das Pedras, so in Brazil, right outside of Rio de Janeiro. There's one in Tulum, Mexico, which is a very big tourist destination, and I think that's actually going to be a very big project that'll have a lot of success, just considering the ecosystem there. And the other one that I would say is worth looking at is there is a global urban change community, and that's something that we realized, that there are so many people who live all over the world who want to use urban change, but actually their community doesn't have it yet, right? Most people, right? Their community doesn't have it. So there's what we call a global urban change community, which you can actually go and use as we speak, and you can download the Urban Change app. And that community essentially is one where you can participate in different challenges and initiatives and earn what we call urban change coins, which then you can only use to purchase cool items on the Urban Change app. So it's actually real, value. I can tell you some of I don't know if you've used it, but some people have done some of the offers, which was like eat an apple a day. We're doing a cool partnership with Algo Active with the pull-ups, right? So do a certain amount of pull-ups, then you earn 3 local coins. And so this is kind of an example of how it can actually work for anyone, because if you are interested and want to participate, you don't have to wait till it comes to your community. Of course, you can try to bring it to your community, but in the meantime, definitely use the app. And this is something that we've been able to learn a lot, and we're actually seeing, to your point about the Algorand community, that the Algorand community has so many cool individuals and programs, and partners that are have cool NFTs or that are doing interesting things like the Algo Active. And there'll be a lot more fun events and challenges coming up that I think people will really enjoy. And so it's actually doing good, but also getting rewarded for doing things that are good for the environment and good for society.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I've actually played with the global communities a bit. I've earned like my first U coins, so I understand like it's a good starting point for people, who are feeling part of a global village and want to earn
Exactly.
some U coins. That, I mean, there are no limitations, and anyone can do that, right? No matter where you are based in.
So again, pending regulations of your local government and all that, do your due diligence and see. But most countries that we're working at, are you can use that.
Yeah, for sure. And I've actually took the effort to see how much you can earn engaging into various global community. I mean, various activities in the global community right now. So, I mean, doing pull-ups, you can get at $3.
Sure.
Walking, you can take total $10. Eating apples, you can earn $2. I mean, U-coins, but it's the dollars. Using public
So
transportation, you can they earn $10. So in total, I count that you can like easily, just by doing healthy things, earn like $25 or something. So I think it's worth trying if you listening to this program. I think it's like free money for doing healthy stuff.
absolutely, and yeah, and it's not going to be forever. And I know that the budget is being used very fast, so make sure to jump in and do it before it runs out. So highly recommend
Yes.
people.
So some initiatives are time limited, like end of
Yeah.
March, and obviously I assume that all of them are budget limited as well.
Exactly. So definitely I would recommend if you're interested, download the app, take a look, and for your listeners and test it out. And also let us know what you think. I think, for us, feedback is also very important. And so to tell us, what you think about it, how your experience was, what worked, what didn't work, what was a challenge, what could be done better. We love to listen and learn from people who've used the program and used the app.
Yes, for sure. And coming back to the local communities for a bit again. So how do you like form those partnerships with cities, with local communities? I mean, are you actively pursuing or chasing, city A or B, or I mean, anyone can approach? I mean, what's the process to engage if someone listening to this program and I would like to create a local community, either like no matter if it's a city mayor or maybe someone who has a community around his social media. I'm not sure if that's
Yeah.
relevant. But what's the process, and is it open for everyone or for shortlisted? I don't know.
Well, first of all, we have to say thank you to you because I believe a lot of this program in Poland was initially through conversations with you and connections that you were able to make. So also people like you are extremely helpful and within the community who are able to say, okay, wait, this is an awesome program. Here is someone that you should speak to. Here is someone that I know that is relevant. So we also appreciate and are very grateful for people who can kind of connect the dots. What I'll say is that we are speaking to people in different countries pretty much around the world, from Nigeria to Brazil, like I was saying, to Mexico, to Germany, to Holland, really across the board. Right now, in essence, the majority of the entities that we're speaking to are related to either a government or to university in some shape, way, or form. But slowly but surely, we're seeing more communities come up and entities that were kind of what we call grassroots. Tulum is actually one of them. It's a grassroots organization that works in parallel with the city, but it's a grassroots organization that's looking to make an impact and kind of bring together the community of Tulum. And so we're starting to see more and more of that happen. Um, and also in today's macroeconomic environment, right, we are always looking to see how you can align the incentives and the budgets with tangible outcomes that can be quantified and have a certain value that can justify the investment into the existing program. And when we talk about long-term growth of crypto and blockchain and communities being added to the urban change protocol, I would say a very critical part is being able to have a data-driven approach to quantify outcomes and to then utilize the data that we're able to get and garner to essentially be able to go to cities and communities and NGOs like the United Nations and entities like that, and basically say, you know what, instead of putting in, $1 million into a program that is supposed to create healthy habits in maybe lower income communities, why don't you use those $1 million and take a chunk of that and repurpose that into rewards and into incentives, and then you have an outcome driven approach, right? So the rewards are provided only once the action is taken, as opposed to kind of putting the money in and then hoping for the best. And so I would say in today's environment, in order for more communities to come in and join, what we're seeing more and more is actually being able to look and try to define outcomes, see how we can quantify what the value of the impact is, and then provide and then see where those budgets can come from, whether it's from, like we were talking before, the cities, whether it's from those the SDG entities, whether it's from foundations and so forth. And that's been a very fun process and a very interesting one, because this is how the long-term capacity of this program succeeding will happen. It has to require, true, tangible financial elements that are sustainable over time.
Yeah, for sure. What you've mentioned, like outcome-driven approach, no matter if you are a city or NGO, you must put money into this to provide this liquidity, to provide budgeting for this initiative. So you probably want to measure this, and probably today you are doing this anyway, but with other means, other platforms. And again, to where we started, like blockchain. For city mayors or any other organization will provide a better framework with more transparency, more traceability. So I think there are some clear benefits using blockchains in this kind of initiatives for sure. And but maybe okay. So how are you as a Yuba chain profitable? So how do you earn from this whole protocol?
Urban Change takes a fee, a percentage fee of the budgets that are appropriated towards initiatives and challenges. And so essentially, if there's a certain fee that comes in, Urban Change takes a percentage of that fee, and a certain fund that comes in, Urban Change takes a fee, and that's how we're able to generate a revenue for the protocol itself.
Okay, so this is again a fee related to the assets which are under management in the platform, or how is it calculated? I mean, background of the question is like obviously there are recently some projects or applications within the Algorand ecosystem who basically long term appear to be not sustainable from like the revenues perspective. So I think this is like a question which for a long-term success of projects within any actually is very important and will be even more important. Like is the business model sustainable longer term?
It's a no pun intended, it's $1 million question, because I would say, and happy to go more macro if we want, but a lot of the companies and protocols within the blockchain ecosystem benefited in many ways from the low interest rate environment, from the hype cycle and so forth in the past couple of years until 2022, 2023. And one of the, I would say that the biggest challenges was to develop viable long-term business models that can sustain themselves over time, like Web2 companies, right? And we haven't always found that right balance between the two, right? Because even today, there are, you have obviously tokens that or coin offerings that represent value and that are kind of the equivalent to maybe an IPO, in certain analogies that one may make. And so from a business model perspective, I don't believe today you can rely on just a token value to go up and down, and that representing the value of the intrinsic value of a company at this stage. Maybe this will change, but today you have to actually provide services or the protocols to be able to provide to solve a problem that someone is willing to pay for in a way that can justify the investment over time without or with reducing the quote unquote venture capital or third party investment into the entity that's actually creating this model, right? So I would say from our perspective, the percentage of assets under management, and again, using a Web 2 term for Web 3, the percentage of fee is something that over time we expect that or hope that billions of dollars of rewards come into the Urban Change Protocol, right? We see the potential because we see the billions of dollars that are being spent by the different large scale foundations, local governments, federal governments, and initiatives that we believe that if a portion of that was appropriated into incentives, there would be that things could look much better. And so I would say that from our perspective, from the long term, we see that we need to justify and validate the ability to bring in many assets, assets being liquidity under management, and that would continue to help fund urban change. Of course, there are other ways and other monetization models that we're looking at. Again, in the United States, we have a Web 2 model. It's a software as a service fee. It's very conventional and very typical, and that's been working well. But I would say from the Web 3, it's continuing to grow and to get more funds under management, and then to provide other goods and services. And that we believe can be very sustainable. But you have to be able to solve a problem in a way that's good and to offer a solution that actually works. And not to say that actually works, that things work, but that actually works and that mainstream can adopt it and that people will actually be able to continue to grow. And I think the best indication is that if a program works, will more money be added, right? Will people continue to use it? Are people coming back? And that's where the sustainability of it goes. So it ends not when someone takes the action. It ends when we're able to analyze the outcomes and the data and to come up with great insights that support and justify these investments that over time will be able to help additional entities that want to fund cool social impact initiatives. And I'll tell you, sorry, that the specific spaces where we see the most potential is, of course, sustainability. You have all the CSRD requirements in Europe that maybe you're familiar with, and the requirements for corporations and for entities to report their emissions. And so suddenly companies are going to start having to record these emissions. Once you record your emissions, you're going to have to see how do you actually reduce them. And so that's the next step where we see potential. So that's one, is sustainability and emissions. Number two is also everything related to public health. So we talked about walking, but we also can talk a lot about what about people who are getting preventive care, right? Getting tested, vaccinated, rewarding people for doing things that maybe, you think about it, like, maybe I'll do it next month, maybe I'll do it the following month. Then you end up, 5 years go by and then something, God forbid, happens. So rewarding preventive care, doing things that focus on mental health, which is a huge part of our lives today, unfortunately, with everyone's using TikTok and social media, and I think that the effect that it has is more and more people actually do need support and need to be able to have another third party entity, for mental health or third party things. So for taking actions toward your mental health, you'll be able to also earn coins, for example, and that's a huge market that I believe more and more cities and organizations are going to want to fund. And so that's number two, public and just general health. And number three is just the element of civic engagement, right? How do you get a community together? How do you reward people for doing things that are helping, volunteering, joining events, participating in City Hall? Because again, we're on our computers, we can actually be connected with the entire world as we speak, right? You're in Poland, I'm in New York. But actually, we have our neighbors that are just around our corner, and maybe are we actually neglecting them more in 2024 because we have so many things that are digital? So I think this can bring back some of the very important physical elements of our lives and being able to be connected to our communities.
Yeah, for sure. So like from all these examples which you have mentioned, there's clearly like a huge potential for platforms like what you are building to grow and onboard more communities. So maybe we can talk a bit about like the current traction or adoption? How do you measure that? I'm not sure if that's number of users or assets under management or number of communities. So maybe you can talk a bit, Michael, where you are today, like, and where you'd like to be like a year from now, in terms of adoption.
Absolutely. As it relates to metrics and adoption, one interesting statistic is that with our global community, we're actually seeing a very rapid growth in utilization week over week. It's over 50% growth week over week in terms of utilization and actions on the app. And what we're also, so that's one point of measurement, meaning how many people are using the app, how many people are completing rewards, how many people are completing this feedback loop. The other metric, of course, is more in the how many communities are using the app. And so in that sense, we're seeing a lot more interest than ever. I think that the publicity from the program in Minsk Mazowiecki actually piqued the interest of a lot of other communities who are thinking about it. And that's the other measurement, right? It's how are people participating within communities, like the global community or the other ones. But on the other hand, it's also how many other sort of insulated communities want to join the program. And within the next year, we really want to see two things happen. One is we want there to be a convergence between or a transition between just early adopters and mainstream users. We want to get more mainstream non-crypto users using this app and being this actually their pathway into blockchain. Because if they don't know that it's blockchain, I think it's a good problem to have. Right? We want people to use it and not even to think about the fact that it's blockchain, just to use it because it's something that's solving a problem that's making their lives better. So that's one, is to get more people using the app that are not necessarily crypto or blockchain native. Two is getting more and more communities to use this as a tool to achieve their strategic goals in a way that's much easier, cheaper, faster, and more efficient than ever before. And this is where technology, I think to your previous point, comes in, because blockchain technology has trust, there is accountability, there is this element of immutability, right? And so I believe that once more and more communities start using it, we'll be able to actually utilize budgets that are meant to do good in a way that is so much better and transparent. And when you think about it, in today's world, with all the politicization of so many different things, and you know, sometimes things that shouldn't be politicized are politicized, unfortunately. But if we actually just use data and look at outcomes, then we can hopefully make that gap much smaller from a politicization perspective and actually just talk about, okay, here's results, we want to achieve these results, here's a small budget, relatively speaking, to, let's say, a large organization, a couple $1 million, then great, let's achieve an outcome. And so that's the other goal, is really to get to those entities that we're speaking to and are very interested in really getting them to, meaning actions speak louder than words. So really getting this to happen, seeing the results and continuing to reinforce, improve, get the product to also improve, to be much easier and to constantly evolve, right? It's a learning, iterative process. And so we're always learning and improving also the end user experience, which is very critical too.
Yeah, for sure. And you already mentioned that, like, one of your goals is onboarding mainstream users, those who are either not familiar with crypto, Algorand, or any other blockchain. And they actually, I think that's one of the things I love about what you are building at Urban Change, because today, I mean, you can download an app on your mobile phone, start eating apples or start walking, earn coins, and you don't, I mean, you interact with the blockchain, but you don't know that you are interacting with the blockchain. So I think for Algorand ecosystem is a great project, like because if you achieve success and you onboard million users, then, I mean, Algorand has a million users who are non-crypto users, let's go like that. They will be like from the mainstream part of the world. So I think it's a very, very good platform. I mean, very good approach, like like a specific crypto wallets, installing MetaMask or other stuff. You just
yes
with the app.
Absolutely. And that's something that has to constantly evolve. And from the end user experience perspective, like you're saying with MetaMask, and and I even remember when a couple of years ago when I started using, crypto tools, like you have to go in, you have to link your wallet and then go switch apps and this and download, and it doesn't work. And there's so many friction points that unless you're very motivated to use it, sometimes during that process you'll just be like, okay, whatever, screw this, I'm gonna continue to do something else. And so that's where, to your point, creating removing friction points as best as possible will enable us to have that experience. Like, the first time you used maybe, credit card on your phone, or the first time that you linked your Google account, or the first time that you did something that was relatively novel, two apps that were integrated one to another. And so we hope that this will be this type of experience for others, and we learn a lot from feedback. I would say that kind of getting the feedback, of course, from the crypto and the early adopters is great and helpful, and they're kind of the innovators and the visionaries that can see how the future will look like. But then looking at seeing, the average middle-aged person, what do they think? How is this experience for them? Where did they where's the challenge? Is it the whole concept of crypto? Where are the gaps? And once we can determine and identify what the gaps are, we then can find solutions that can overcome. So that's why this process takes time. I think there are certain products that are out there that have been able to solve some of these problems. So we're learning a lot. And I would say that, again, to your initial question, in the upcoming year, hopefully we'll be seeing 2024 more and more and more globally, whether it's in the US, Europe, Africa, Latin America. There's so many countries in we see have potential to really be crypto, not just to hold crypto assets, which I believe like 20% of the US residents hold from the statistic that I saw, but actually to utilize the benefits of the blockchain in a way that'll solve problems and create a better experience than without the blockchain.
Okay, beautiful. So maybe a bit more. I mean, because on your in your ecosystem you have those two types of coins, like local coins, which are related to local communities, global coin, the Ucoin launched recently related to global community initiative in that community, and you also have the UCT token, which is a governance token, right? So maybe we can just talk this a bit. What is governance token, and what is the influence like of this token in the ecosystem, if at all, right now? And what are the plans for a community governance? Are you planning to become a DAO? Maybe you are a DAO already. Maybe let's talk this a bit.
Absolutely. So I would say from a UCT, the governance, or the token itself, the overarching token, is something that we're having a lot of discussions about. There are a lot of different options, to your point, whether it's a DAO, whether the structure will be very similar to the token generation event, where there will be tokens out there and distributed according to what we have on the white paper, of course. Today there are different options that we're looking at this stage. It's right now we're trying to figure out and to learn from the community to see what the best options will be, considering the different elements of the app, the global community, the local communities, and seeing where the structure is best. It's you give someone the incentive, you see the outcome, right? So I think at this stage it's about aligning the incentives in the best way possible. And that's what we're actually doing a lot of research on internally, is saying, okay, where is it best to put the incentives in order to make this a thriving community? Is it the community leaders? Is it for the community participants? Is it for the third-party entities? So there will be more to come this year about how exactly it will look like. And of course, we'll do it as transparently as possible with the Web3 ethos. And so more to come. But I think in general, to your point, it is a critical part of the community's evolution and growth. And at this stage, we're really learning from the initial users and the initial adoption and success that we're having to determine where the next steps should be in terms of how to use the incentives in the best way possible for the community itself, right? It's all for the community.
Yeah, for sure. And for people who are interested to somehow like engage in the Urban Change ecosystem, there is a way to earn the UCT tokens, so the governance tokens. There are Zilli initiatives, and you can just do the task on Zilli and earn UCT tokens. So and tasks of various kinds, like just proposing various kinds of initiatives within the Urban Change ecosystem. So you contribute, you earn UCT tokens, and maybe you become like a part of the governance of the platforms in the upcoming future. Who knows? And as well, I've seen in the global communities within the app, there is a way to earn the Ucoin for joining the Zilli. So I mean, people who want to start playing with the Urban Change can just start using global community, then earn some start using Zilli, then earn some Ucoin on the global community part, and just start engaging with the ecosystem. I think it's worth trying.
Absolutely, and thank you for that. I would say the Zilli, and then of course downloading the app and joining the global community, like you're saying, starting, eat an apple and show us that you did it. And the quicker you do it, the I would say the higher chance you have of participating, since more and more people are starting to do that. But yeah, I think, and do that and tell us what you think. I would say that's another thing I would add. Provide feedback through the X, the Twitter, through different forums. Just send us a DM, whatever you want, and we'll be more than happy to kind of provide to take your feedback and to hopefully make improvements if you have very helpful suggestions. So I would add that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So looking forward to see the launch in Minsk Mazowiecki early March. We will be doing a spaces, I think, on 7th of March with Urban Change team. So hopefully by this time, this will be already live in Minsk, so we can talk this further with what's first feedback from going live in Minsk. So any final words from you, Michael?
This was great. I appreciate all the explanations and just providing context to this program and the exciting work that we're doing. We definitely need people like you from the community who are spreading the word and really getting the adoption going. I think this will be helpful to make the world a better place and to reward people for doing good things, which is very important for us, and I think very important as part of a global mission and doing good things and using the blockchain for good things, right? Using the blockchain as a tool for positive impact, which is, I would say, today, after everything we've been through in the past couple of years, just as critical as ever before. So we appreciate also your work and everything that you're doing in this space as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's my pleasure. And actually, this all started like by the chance of Decipher. I think it was in Dubai, where I started to discuss with Ortar and Kate from Urban Change, and this idea came from just a discussion. Then I contacted you with Sebastian, which you and he contacted you, the city mayor in Minsk Mazowiecki, and this somehow is magically materializing. So anyone can have an impact, even from like a
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I will provide links to the Urban Change application and to the Twitter of Urban Change and other sources under this video. Thank you so much, Michael, for your time. Good luck with what you are doing, and we should reconnect probably sometime in the future to see how things going. Thanks so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrzej. Thank you so much.
Bye.